if I have a concealed carry legally, if I so choose to, which I may, why not?
Yeah.
If I want to carry my gun on my hip, it's not because I'm afraid of the world. It's because I wanted to fucking do it that day, dude. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. It's because, fuck it, my dick feels big right now.
Dude, like, man, I am way past mid-chub. I am throbbing.
I need to carry my weapon.
Exactly. That's what I do it for. It's the What It Is podcast with Marlee and
Strolli.
Welcome back, guys.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I'm trying a different intro. How about that?
It's your boys.
It's your boys.
We're having a great time.
Having a very good time.
We're enjoying ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Are you enjoying us? And I mean that in a
Tell me.
not weird
Tell
way.
me honestly.
Okay, all right. Hey, come on. God, I was weird
Hurt my
about that.
feelings. Do it.
Make me feel like shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, welcome back.
Yeah, dude. It's good. It's good. It's fun. It's nice. We're doing things.
We're doing it.
What are we talking about today, Strolli? What are we talking about on this one, Strolli?
We are going to talk
We're talking about guns, guys.
I wanted to say it.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
Guns?
we're talking about. Yeah, let's talk about guns.
Okay.
It's a fun topic.
I think I can do that.
Yeah,
I don't really know anything
Yeah, I know
about
it's not a
guns.
political topic whatsoever.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, right.
Uh.
Anyways, go on.
You were saying. Yeah, what about guns do you want to talk about more?
I don't know, dude. What are your feelings on, I guess, the topic?
I like them.
Sick.
They're
Alright.
neat.
Okay.
They go boom
Okay. Very, very astute.
loudly.
Very profound.
Yep.
Fuck.
Was that me or you?
That was me, dude.
That
That was a Mountain Dew. I needed to burp, and it was sneaking out.
Yeah, that's fine. I get it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, guns.
What do you mean
right?
the topic?
Like, how do you feel about what the topic of guns, like how it's typically brought about? Like, what are your ideas? How do you feel about gun control?
So I guess I kind of have like two different viewpoints, opinions, if you will. Like I have my opinion, like what I would like. I don't care. Like
Mhm.
whatever, fine. As long as you don't hurt anyone. If you're a good fucking person, I could
Mhm.
care less what the fuck you own. You can own a fucking rocket launcher if you're just not an idiot, right?
Mhm.
Obviously, there's idiots out there. Obviously, we have to have restrictions.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. I think sport and play, like going to a range and
Mhm.
stuff like that, I think that is something that kind of gets thrown under the rug a lot.
Mhm.
Like when we talk about like, oh, what's the point of somebody having an AR-15, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's like, have you ever shot one? It's a lot of fucking
It's-
fun.
Yeah, it does look pretty.
It's a
cool.
lot of fucking fun, you know. It's like it's an adrenaline rush
Mhm.
for sure. And I think that as Americans and you know what our forefathers wanted us to be, they wanted us to be free and all that other stuff, and kind of have our own rules and regulations and that kind of stuff. Like I think that provided it's in competent hands,
Mhm.
own whatever the hell you want. Like definitely not auto. I'm cool with not having auto.
Yeah, like I said, there has to be restrictions.
Even shooting auto, like, yeah,
Mhm.
like fine. Like, there's no difference of. There is a difference. Not that I would know. I haven't shot auto
Mhm.
yet. I plan to at some point.
Same. I've never shot a gun before.
Yeah, but shooting semi-auto and then like it's fine. It
Mhm.
gets the job done. It's no big deal. It's. I think that auto definitely no.
Mhm.
Clip limitations, I'm even cool with that.
Yeah.
Like most places, they don't want you putting in more than, you know, well, actually, that's actually not true. At Target Master, you could load your clip and send it if you want. They don't give a fuck. I mean, they give a fuck, but
Clip, I brought a box.
yeah. So a box is usually a clip, especially with 5.56. But
I'm talking about like a case.
a crate.
Yeah.
To me, that's a crate.
Fucking terminology, dude.
No, it's okay. I don't even know if that's the right terminology, but to me, that's a fucking crate. Yeah, no, I think that if it again, I need to stress that like in competent hands. I think there should be, limitations of owning a gun and calibers and all that other stuff and sizes should be gone away, but I think the process of getting it should be increased. Like I think there should be I personally think that gun safety and guns should be taught at a very young age. I think that
I loosely agree.
Yeah. I think that understanding and being around and being comfortable, knowing how to be comfortable around a weapon, around a firearm, is just as important as literally anything else. Because I if you're afraid of it, you're going to be afraid of it no matter what. And then by chance, like for whatever reason, if you own one, but you're still kind of timid and you're a little afraid and you don't really know, accidents happen, right? But if you're comfortable and you understand what it's like to deal with a gun safely, what it's like to deal with a gun unsafely, hot, if you will, like racked, loaded, all ready to go.
Safe, unsafe.
But like understanding what it's like to handle a firearm appropriately, I think that's important.
Yeah,
and I don't think that's stressed enough.
Yeah, I definitely feel like gun control should be more or less gun education, like you said. Like if you're afraid of it because you've never used it, you don't see it. Like guns are literally part of some regions' cultures. Like it's so ingrained in what some people are. Yeah. And I don't think there's something innately wrong with that.
Yeah.
You know? I believe the conversation around politics shouldn't be as political as it is.
Right.
That gun control is relegated to one party while like the liberty, like the Second Amendment is relegated to a different political party. Yeah. I really think the conversation around guns should breach party boundaries.
Bipartisan?
Yeah, it should be bipartisan. Yeah, it should be bipartisan. Like there's no reason why guns should be as political as they are.
Right,
absolutely. Like I feel like that takes away from realistically both parties' ambitions.
Yeah.
I think it's fucking stupid and foolish to make it partisan. Because you're immediately setting it up to be a battle. Like there's no reason why.
Yeah. If you're automatically telling me I disagree with you, well, then why the fuck are we going to even have a conversation?
Republicans are Second Amendment nuts, and Democrats are fucking gun control snowflakes. Like, there's no reason why that should be the case. Why is it relegated to one party or the other? Why can't you be a fucking... Why do you have to be, like, a left-leaning Republican because you agree with certain restrictions about guns?
Yeah.
Why does it have to be 100% or none? You know, like, there should be that middle ground because guns aren't...
Guns are scary. Guns are
scary. Yeah, no matter without a doubt. You know, the ability to take a life within a second is scary, regardless.
Less than.
Yeah, with less.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, that shit is scary. The ability to maim another human being, like just having that power in your hand.
Yep.
Is intimidating and is scary, and I do.
And when you're uneducated, it makes it 10 times worse.
Exactly.
So let's work on the education part, right? Yeah. Like having, like I said, like I genuinely really think that if we teach kids. Maybe not kids, right?
Yeah, obviously maybe not children.
Yeah. But like, you know, preteens or teenagers, basically, like if we teach them in a very serious, very methodical, and very appropriate way.
Appropriate being a big thing. Because if you think like guns are such a big part of American culture, like you think of action movies, you think of like buying fake guns in the stores, like you think of playing Call of Duty. Like there's like fucking 9-year-olds that are more knowledgeable of what guns are just because they play Call of Duty more than I do.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Like that's fucking wild to me. And like it's
and they're cool.
Yeah, they're cool. Like I want to like I said, I've never shot a gun before.
Yep.
But I want to go to a gun range. I want to experience what it's like to shoot a gun. You know, long term, I want to learn how to. I may own a handgun in the future. You know, just because I want to learn how to take care of one, and it doesn't. I'm not intimidated or afraid to get one.
Yeah, and they can even be safe, and they can grant you that safety.
Yeah.
Like you know, I definitely don't want to spend too much time on this topic, but on this topic that I'm going to talk about, prefacing with that, but like you know. Women have an extremely hard time being alone in dark and unnatural areas because they're afraid of things that can happen to them, and those things happen.
Men are uncontrollable fiends.
Absolutely. But if they're trained and understand how to use a weapon and use it safely and use it correctly, I guarantee there would be less instances, right? So the way that I look at it is, if you're going to rob something, if you want to rob a person, are you going to rob the 6'2" dude who's got ponytail, tattoos, and has got a leather cut on him? Or are you going to rob the nerdy looking dude who's walking down the street by himself?
Yeah.
You're going to rob the nerdy guy, right? Like mentally, that's kind of what you're thinking.
You're going to rob Dom.
Yeah, right. Because, okay, that looks like the easier target. But that easier target, well, he's actually...
Yeah, when he got that fucking heater on him, it's a different story.
He's got a 45 on his waist, and you go up to him and you die because of that. Yeah. Where that guy with the ponytail, he just likes the way that leather vests look. Yeah, exactly. He would have given you all... He had $1 million in his wallet. The other guy had 10. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that mentality, and if we build that mentality that, okay, all of our citizens are trained smartly how to use weapons. Most of them have weapons. I guarantee a lot less people are going to start fucking around with other people. Now,
on the flip side of that,
I was about to say, conversely,
on the negative side, it's kind of like, I don't want to walk down the street. Well, I don't want to walk down the street and think like, yo, everybody's fucking strapped right now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. That
now, mind you, if you think everybody's got a gun right now and everybody's got one, but I know what they were taught, right? And I know they know how to handle them nicely. I feel better. You know what I mean? Like mentally, I would feel better knowing that everyone around me has a gun, but they know how to use it and they're safe with using it, than knowing that everybody had a gun. Period.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
But also, like, when I'm driving, everybody has a driver's license. I can assume everybody has a driver's license.
Yep.
But like, I've had to deal with aggressive drivers, like people that are like literally trying to run me off the fucking road.
But that's because people aren't trained how to drive.
They have a driver's license. They went through.
They're not
testing.
trained.
Well, sure.
That's what I'm saying, right? So when you get a firearm, if you get a pistol, you have to file a background check. You have to do all this other stuff, and most people will go to a range and understand how to use them, but they're not trained how to use them safely. They don't go through a sanctioned training most times, right? It's the same way with driving, right? I kind of actually contradict my point there, but regardless, I think with appropriate training. Yeah. Poor situations end up better. I'm not saying there's not going to be outliers. I'm not saying that everything's going to be safe and happy and hunky dory. Yeah. But if
nothing will ever be perfect.
If we sit there and we fear guns aren't going to go away.
Yeah,
they're not just going to go. They're not just going to just disappear.
They're such a huge part of the culture.
But if we sit there and we respect them and we understand them and we take them for what they are, things might be a little bit different, right? Maybe people might not be as anxious and apprehensive against them. They may understand and be like, all right, well, guns aren't for me.
Yeah.
But I know that I know what they're capable of. I know, again, with this idea of training, I know people know how to handle them safely, and I just don't want them.
Yeah.
But the anxiety goes away. Yeah. Right?
So one of my other problems, and why I kind of go back and forth between like the gun control and gun education, and like the way that guns are looked at, there's fault on every side, without a doubt. You have the people that are like, that don't know what guns are. They're just scared of they're talking points. People
who think AR stands for assault rifle.
Exactly. That rifle assaulted me. But on the flip side, there's an argument that like gun education, gun safety, like if you know it, you shouldn't be afraid of it. But then you also have the people that exercise their rights and literally wear their weaponry as a show of force.
Yeah.
So which I think that's without a doubt a negative. Like you're advocating for your gun rights while showing exactly why you shouldn't have guns and people shouldn't have guns because you're using them to intimidate.
Now, also, I agree. I agree with that. And I think but now if we're all educated in a way, seeing a weapon isn't scary anymore, right?
Yes.
Because we make these weapons scary and the media likes to portray them as scary, then anytime we see a weapon, anytime when we see a firearm, we're like, oh my God, he's got a fucking gun. But if we understand what they're capable of, we understand how to deal with them, we understand what it's like to deal with them safely, we'll see a gun and be like, okay, he's got a gun, but I'm not scared. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but then but you more or less want people to fear that. Because going back to your example of the person that's robbing somebody, you want them to think like anybody could have a gun. I shouldn't rob anybody because they can kill me.
Yes.
Right. So you want them to be afraid of it.
I want them. Yeah. Yes.
But that's why this conversation needs to be so nuanced and it's so hard to have.
Yeah.
Because no matter how you're leaning towards it, there's like things like that where it's like, again, in theory, in that moment, like I agree with you, but moving further into the conversation, I look at that and I'm like, well, then.
So if you're to counter your point of, well, I want people to be scared of weapons because if you're gonna go rob them, you're not gonna rob the guy who thinks that I would think had a gun, right? So, with that being said, you know that let me try and think of something. If you're going to do something that you shouldn't do, and it can hurt you in some way, that's going to be scary, right? Because you shouldn't do it, and you know you're going to get hurt somehow, some way.
Right.
But if you go by that, the first thing that pops in my head for whatever reason, because this isn't working, just doing figs, is like if I drive off a bridge, it's going to hurt, and I don't want to do that. But I can drive over a bridge and be perfectly fine. So like that kind of is a metaphor for me because like if I'm going to rob somebody, I'm doing something that person isn't going to like. And if I know they have a gun, I don't want to do that because I know I'm going to get hurt by that gun.
Yeah.
But if I don't want to rob that person, I can walk past that person and they can have a gun and I'm not scared.
Like I can.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what like I'm trying to say. Like, or that's kind of more or less like a counterpoint to like, yeah, sure, the fear is there, but the fear is there because they're doing something that person wouldn't want them to do. If you're not doing something that person doesn't want them to do, then you shouldn't have any issues. Okay. But then again, like it's there's still issues to resolve at that point.
Yeah. It's I think it boils down to the conversation being so political,
right?
That you have people. There's gun owners out there that literally because they legally can, they're licensed to do it, will wear their guns. They will show their guns in perfect legal fashion. There's nothing wrong with what they're doing.
Yep.
But to elicit a reaction. Yep. And that is so irresponsible. Yep. That's so childish.
Yep.
You shouldn't own a gun at that point.
Now, do you find somebody who has an open carry permit and wears a gun open carried because that's the permit that they have? Do you find that person trying to be intimidating?
No.
Okay.
No. But I'm speaking of the people that do it.
That's what I'm curious about because if you have an open carry, well, I mean, you're intending to open carry it, right? But if they're just walking around, like, for whatever reason, I imagine some dude with a cowboy hat and boots and jeans, and they just got a big old fucking 357 sitting on their waist.
A fucking cowboy.
Basically, yeah.
But like,
they're not trying to be intimidating.
I'm thinking of literally like if I get like I said, if I get a handgun and I literally strap it to my hip and be like, all right, Mom, I'll be back and going to Target. I don't have an intention with that.
Right.
You know,
it's there for safety.
Exactly.
Yep. For your safety.
Yeah. Well, it could be there for my safety or not because I don't currently feel the need to carry a gun.
Right.
I don't feel unsafe to the point that I feel like I have to protect myself and my car and my like I don't feel that need to do that with a gun.
Yeah.
You know, I've lived 25 years on this planet and never needed a fucking gun.
Yeah.
You know?
Most people will probably never use a weapon, a firearm.
If I have a concealed carry legally, if I so choose to, which I may, why not?
Yeah.
If I want to carry my gun on my hip, it's not because I'm afraid of the world. It's because I wanted to fucking do it that day, dude. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. It's because, fuck it, my dick feels big right now.
Dude, like, man, I am way past mid-chub. I am throbbing.
I need to carry my weapon.
Exactly. That's what I do it for. No. But, I'm thinking of my own mindset, and, like, I know who I am. You know, I'm not trying to piss anybody off or intimidate anybody. Yeah. It's just a fucking accessory.
But that's something that can be scary. Like, if you go to reach for something on the top shelf and your gun kind of pops out a little bit, somebody's going to be fucking scared. But if gun education is there and they know a little bit more about it, that fear and anxiety doesn't necessarily isn't necessarily there.
Yeah.
Like maybe there is some, but it's not. It's like I guess the way that I look at it is if it's more common, right? If it would be more common, then people wouldn't be as scared, right? Because it'd be something that you're used to seeing, right?
Unfortunately, I think it's because, again, I blame politics.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
because
it being politically abused is definitely
the worst possible thing for
guns.
You know, granted, it has to be political. It has to go through the government and laws and shit. So it necessarily has to be political. But like, it shouldn't be a fight politically.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, it has to be made into law. There has to be regulations.
Can't we just be fucking humans and sit there and talk and be like, what's the best thing to do with these dangerous things that we have?
Exactly.
You know?
They're not going away. They're a part of the culture of who we are.
So how do we make it best?
What's the best way? You know, you want them. I want regulation for them.
Yep.
You know, how do we meet in the middle? How do we? Because
I would rather I would rather anyone who's scared to walk down the street to be locked and loaded. I would rather them do that because I'm sure that would give them the safety to not feel scared.
I don't want.
See, that's why I was laughing because I was like, I know this is gonna sound weird.
Yeah, I don't want somebody tepid and afraid to have a weapon on them.
Well, not tepid and afraid. Somebody who's like, dude, I don't want to go to the store. Like, I don't like being out in the streets. But like, if you have a gun, yeah, I'll go to the store. I don't mind.
But it's
because you have that safety net, right?
Unfortunately, that's the kind of like situation that I don't want somebody to have a gun in. That you have to have a gun to feel safe.
Yeah.
That's the kind of situation. Like, I don't feel like I need to have a gun to be safe. I'm okay with not having a gun and still feeling safe.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't feel safe, I would be more likely to use that to feel safe. Right. Because the things that intimidate me are still out there.
True.
The gun doesn't stop those things from intimidating me. It just gives me the power to end what intimidates me.
Right, exactly.
Which again,
could be dangerous.
In a bubble, I think is wrong.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So I guess the the thing that I'm curious about now is that obviously campuses typically don't have you're not allowed to have guns on campus, which is fine, but you know, young females are afraid to go out on the streets and stuff like that. So do you think a gun would be beneficial for them to not feel like I'm not trying to say that the females need to change to make them to feel safe. I'm not saying that, but is there a way trying to change men and trying to change society is going to be fucking hard. Trying to protect the women and have them be able to defend themselves. No. I know. Just I'm not saying this is. I'm not saying this like this is what needs to happen. I'm saying just follow me here, okay?
This is do it.
This is theoretical, hypothetical.
I'll let you do it.
I definitely think
we'll
men
have this
suck.
Conversation after the podcast.
Men fucking suck. Men that need to stop hurting females. Period. I agree with that. However.
Your toxic masculinity.
I know.
But
I'm curious. I'm curious, right? So, is there a way that we can? You know what the fuck I'm saying.
Wait till that.
Is there a way that we can make females feel safer? Is a firearm a way to do it, or do you? Yeah.
What if the person that's attacking the woman has a legal firearm?
Who can draw faster?
I mean,
no,
like
I
that.
know.
That's a little bit of a bogus argument. Again, we're not going to get into that big of a deal right now.
I think the reason why I'm hung up on this kind of thing and why I kind of wanted to get it out is because I feel like the people who are scared and people who feel like they can't go to some place or can't do X, Y, and Z because other people fucking suck. In my brain, like the way that I work is that if I go into a situation, I know I can only control myself. So I am either going to put myself in that situation or take myself out of that situation.
Right.
I can't control the things around me. Like if I go to a party and it's getting outrageous, I can either stay because I want to stay, or if I really don't like it, I can go.
Right.
I can control that. I can't tell all the people to chill, right?
Yeah.
I can only do something. So the way that I'm looking at it is like, is there something that we can do to help these females until we change the men?
No.
Okay, that's fine. That's why I was curious. Like if there's nothing that we can do, if the only option is to
because it's not a women
castrate men and make it so that they can't do the things that they want to do, then I'm with it.
I mean, this is a pretty.
That was a little facetious.
I know. This isn't the argument you need to be having for this conversation.
Did you burp?
No, I didn't.
Sorry, I'm just like extremely. It literally smells like a skunk.
It's your upper lip, dog. Because you're talking that bullshit right now. No.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. No, your point is invalid. I don't. The usage of a weapon in self-defense, I think, is a little bit of the negative part of that gun control and gun education.
So you think let me just see if I get your opinion. So your opinion is more or less like, I'm okay with guns because they're cool, but I don't necessarily like them for a self-defense option.
I would think that a gun. I want to go to a gun range because I feel like it'd be fun to shoot a gun.
Yeah,
I don't like the all-around idea of weapons being used to take lives in any circumstance.
I don't think anybody does, honestly. I mean, smart.
Some people fucking do.
Smart.
Some people fucking
smart
do. Some
gun
people
owners.
yo, I could fucking kill anybody right now. Like they enjoy that.
Yeah.
I positively or negatively for the sense of self-defense or for the sense of just literally like I could take your life if I disagree with you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like I don't like the idea of guns being used to take lives.
I agree. No, I hear you on that one. Like,
and I don't want to sound soft. Like it's not necessarily that. Guns are. I like the idea of guns being recreational. I like the idea of target practice, of marksmanship, of hunting. Yeah, I love the idea of hunting. I'm not a hunter myself.
What about hunting the
hunting
most
people.
dangerous game?
Yeah, I knew you were going there. You know,
Yep.
but like that's the gun. Those are the gun rights that I love. I love that support. I respect the shit out of hunters.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up with a couple people that hunted. You know, like one of my sister's best friends. Like her father was on hunts. He's a really cool dude. You know. There's certain, and especially if you like use the meat, like a lot of people tend to the wilderness through hunting.
Yeah,
they control animal populations that would more or less overpopulate and destroy the local eagles. Like that kind of shit is fine. Those aren't the people that need to be attacked. Unfortunately, they're under the umbrella because they use guns. But that's what I lean towards when I think of gun education and the negative side of the left-leaning conversation of gun control. Okay. Those are the people that are hurt, and those are the people that I find myself identifying with. Just like I have a gun because it's recreational. I don't have a gun because I want the power to take somebody else's life.
So do you agree with the idea that a good guy with a gun a good guy, what was it? Like a good guy with a gun is better than a bad guy with a gun or something like that, or stops a bad guy with a gun. Like, are you like, is that
rather have a good guy with a gun than a bad guy with a gun or something like that?
No. Something, yeah, maybe.
There's a saying. I know exactly what you're talking about. There's definitely a saying like that.
So if the bad guys are gonna have guns,
right?
Do you think the good guys should also have guns?
The good guys do have guns. They're called the police. And look what they do with them. Bam! Fuck yeah, I did it. But we're not going to get into it. We don't have enough time to get into that.
I'm trying to sit here and have a half decent, and you're going to drop that bomb.
Absolutely. No, I mean,
but like, do you know what I mean? Like, so I get.
I mean, that's not. I mean, that is a legitimate argument for that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely understand. Like, I definitely like because I'm kind of getting an idea, right? So maybe let's try and let's keep the guns at home, or guns for the range. Period. Mm-hmm. No concealed carry, nothing like that, right?
Well, I'm not saying
no. I know. I'm saying like I can get behind that.
Yeah, there has to be leeway. Obviously, there always has to be leeway.
But what do we do about the bad guys with guns, right? Because the bad guys with guns are going to do bad things with the guns, and it's going to be probably illegal, right?
Right.
Like trying to control gun ownership isn't stopping the bad guys to get the guns.
But there's also a bigger picture as to why those bad guys have guns.
The government.
Yes.
Absolutely,
but there's environments that create those situations.
Yep.
Do you do you trim the branch or do you address the roots? You know, like that's like how do you treat that situation?
Right.
And that's not even necessarily like treating the branch, that's killing the fucking tree.
Yeah.
Like there's no sense of like reconciliation or like recovery for that.
Yeah.
You're treating the symptom and not the cause.
Yeah. So
you're treating the symptom,
right, but there's always going to be bad guys.
Always going to be bad guys, obviously.
And those bad guys are going to have the best advantage to keep being bad.
Mm-hmm.
And at the moment, firearms is the best advantage, right?
Sure, because I've protected my house plenty of times, and so have my neighbors with weapons by the roving gangs of the roving gangs in the streets. Like that I feel like that's
I don't mean it like that.
I know, I feel like, but that, unfortunately, again, leaning back into the politics, I feel like that's such a sensationalized talking point.
Mm-hmm.
The good guy with a gun versus the bad guy. That goes back to cowboys and Indians, like that's
racist.
It is racist.
They're not Indians.
Thank you. But that goes back to what that is, the good cowboy, the Lone Ranger. There's that mindset of the good guy with the gun that is ingrained within the culture, obviously. And again, even currently, our action movie stars, the good guy with the gun.
Yep.
There's that's like such a sensationalized talking point that I feel like that doesn't necessarily apply to reality.
No, I get what you're saying. I do. I get what you're saying, but I'm still curious on. I'm okay. Like I think it would be beneficial if we made it so people basically they couldn't carry guns on them. It always had to be somewhere else, like transporting in the trunk, in the house, locked away,
right?
In the woods hunting, right? Obviously, something like that. I'm on board with that. But what do we do about potential dangers of people carrying their gun illegally? Is there something that we do about that?
No.
Okay. We just let it happen?
You're never going to stop that. To your point,
fair.
There's always going to be bad guys that have that advantage. There's always going to be so that's not a problem that you address in that way. Okay. Because you can't address that problem in that way.
So how do you address that problem, right?
Again, as an over you
I know.
I always go back
like a weird situation.
I always go back to improving the communities that these people come from.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, definitely that's first and foremost, right?
Yeah.
I mean, period.
You can never extinguish the problem, but you can lessen the probability. Yeah. I don't believe that addressing the probability is arming the population.
Yeah.
That's
that's definitely counterintuitive.
Breeds distrust that breeds more of the same problems.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive. I agree.
But
so I guess I'm not saying gangs or anything like that, but like what's stopping somebody from carrying their gun illegally? What's stopping somebody from carrying their gun illegally and being like, well, now I have a gun and I have an advantage over people because I know that they can't carry their guns illegally?
Nothing. But there's also nothing stopping anybody from legally doing the same thing.
I'm saying in the fictional idea that I had preset.
Yeah.
There'd be no legal way to do that.
Yeah.
So
I mean
I agree. Like I completely understand. Like it's not an easy situation. It's not an easy solution.
Right.
Like there's right ways and wrong ways to go about these things. And I think the right ways to go about them are sort of being done, but I think there's a lot of wrong ways going about it, right?
Yeah.
Like what I was kind of saying, like, well, how do we stop a bad guy with a gun? Well, let's try and treat why they're a bad guy with a gun, not how do we stop them?
Yeah.
How do we
You don't we're not asking how you stop the bad guy with the gun. How do you stop the guy from becoming bad and obtaining a gun?
Right.
Or how do you stop the guy from becoming bad at all?
And then even using the gun, right?
If you have like I said, you can never get rid of the possibility, but you can decrease it.
Yep.
Yep.
There will always be shitty situations.
Yeah, there will always be shitty situations, and that's why that talking point is so, like I believe it's so sensationalized because
for sure
you always
and like I said, I wasn't trying to use that example. I'm going through it in my head.
I'm glad you brought it up because I mean that's how I feel about it. You know?
Yeah.
And that's a common issue. That's a common talking point that like I feel like not a lot of people are really equipped to look at both sides of that and speak on it with nuance, you know? Which unfortunately I believe is missing from a lot of these conversations.
Unfortunately, there are a lot of very biased, very emotional conversations being had instead of having logical, mature conversations.
Exactly.
Which is truly a detriment to really anything controversial, right? Anything controversial.
Anything.
It's always dealt with. There's always the emotional and there's always the irrational sides that like to peek out and like to power forward. And it's truly a shame that we all just can't sit back and be like, Trump fucking sucks.
Yeah,
Biden sucks too. You know what I mean? Like those kind of things. Like
that's
like two people who can't agree, right? But sitting there having a conversation why they can't agree.
Yeah,
doesn't have to get heated. Doesn't have to get. But
I don't see as many people still waving a Biden flag though. I'll say that much.
Where's our stimmies?
Yeah, son of a bitch, you owe us.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good place to wrap, dude. I think
for sure.
I think that was a pretty solid thing. Let us know what your opinions are, what you think, how we were wrong, how we were right.
I mean we're not wrong.
No, we're absolutely
we are right.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, let us know how you guys differ, or how you think the same, or if there's anything that we may have talked about that could be changed. Do you have any ideas? What the hell do we do about guns?
Let us know why you dislike this video.
yeah. Let us know why
we lost your follow.
yeah, right, exactly.
But no, I mean, we love the interaction, guys. We love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.
We'll catch you next time.
Absolutely.
We love you.
Smoochies.
Bye.